All right, welcome back to the channel. Jaron Boots Ennis is being rumored to have a fight coming up with Benn. This, along with the fact that Terence Crawford should very soon be dropping the belts that he has at 147 pounds so that big fights with multiple belts can be made. Let's talk about whether or not these things are true, whether or not they're false, whether they make sense at all. Let's do that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where we've got some news percolating about Terence "Bug" Crawford, Jaron Ennis, Benn, and the belts at 147 pounds. Jaron Ennis said he has a big announcement coming up. Benn puts a picture of him and Jaron Ennis in the ring and says, "Let's get it," which leads people to believe that Jaron Ennis will be fighting Benn next. And also, there's rumors out there that Terence Crawford will be going to Saudi Arabia to fight for the WBA 154-pound champion against a guy, man, what is his name? Can't remember the guy's name. Forgive me. I do that sometimes. I'm old. To fight for the 100 and Madmadov, I believe it's Madmarov, for the 154 pounds in Saudi Arabia. Now, let's talk about that. But before I do, let me thank you back for coming back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, as always, hey, you're welcome to subscribe and hit the bell icon so we can have these boxing conversations and you can know about them when the video comes out on YouTube. Also, thank you so much to the longtime subscribers and supporters of the channel. Subscribers, you're great. Supporters, you're on a whole nother level. And supporters are the people that come by and tip, throw a little quarter at your boy in the super thanks, which is a $ below the right next to the comments that you can see when you see it on YouTube. Very, very, very important part of the channel. I don't get sponsorships from promoters or the like. So, crowd-funded channel. So thank you to everybody that does that, especially Matty Yole, my guy Jay Mills, Jay Miller, Barbara D, and everybody else. Thank you. But let's get into this because, this is kind of going to be a bubble burster. Jaron Ennis, likelihood of Jaron Ennis fighting Benn next is about this big. Okay, now, why would I say that? I say that because, look, man, I don't judge, and I've been telling people this, and I'm going to continue to tell you this. And this is something just in life. Don't judge people off what they say. Don't judge people. Don't judge people off what they say exclusively, what they say. Judge them off what they do. It's much, much, much more reliable to judge people off what they do. Instead of looking at what you want to happen, look at what can happen. When you look at what people actually do and what the possibilities of things that can actually take place, you're going to get and start making a lot better predictions about what's going to take place in the future, because it allows you to get con men out of your face when they trying to sell you something that can't happen, right? Sometimes they sell you something that can happen, but they don't do it. So using that as a backdrop, let's analyze this Benn and whether or not Benn is going to be fighting Jaron Ennis at 147 pounds. I say no because of the following. Benn got caught on performance enhancements in the UK. In the UK, he is still not allowed to fight in the UK. He is under suspension in the UK because the United States is funny, and Benn's promoter doesn't have a whole lot of, scruples. He brings a guy that is on suspension for performance enhancements in another country and brings him to the United States to fight people in the United States. The state commissions allow it to happen. I'm not sure if the state's commissions were aware of it or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't pay attention to what's happening in boxing at that level. However, he's allowed to come to the United States and fight. So, but he's not any way, shape, or form somebody that is a big name in American boxing. And I don't know whether or not the IBF is going to actually let him fight for their belt. Because Jaron Ennis is an IBF champion. And if he is the IBF champion and they allow him to fight Conor Benn, and Conor Benn wins, which ain't going to happen. That's going to be a massacre. But say Conor Benn somehow wins that fight. Because, hey, crazy things have happened. People throw their back out, inadvertent elbows, land on somebody's head. They get cut. The fight goes to whatever. You get my drift. As long as somebody got 2 hands and 2 feet, they got a chance. So what if he becomes the IBF champion? You're going to have an IBF champion that is on suspension in the UK for performance enhancements. That's a really, really bad look for the IBF. Really, really bad look for the IBF. And it's not something that I think that the IBF is going to do because of all of the sanctioning bodies. The IBF is the one that is most prone to make decisions that you would think could affect their money, right? Like, for example, they were willing to strip Canelo Alvarez of his IBF 160-pound title when he failed to fight Sergey Deverenchenko, who was his mandatory, right? So the IBF, I don't see that taking place. Also, the promoter is Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn is sitting there talking about how the PBC won't work with anybody. From my understanding, it's not 100% set yet that I know for sure. But Jaron Ennis is a PBC fighter, or at least he's been fighting on PBC cards, and he's somebody I am sure that the PBC looks forward to, growing in the sport and putting on major pay-per-view shows with him because of the level of talent that he has, the area that he's from, which is a high density East Coast town, East Coast city. There's a lot of really big things that are out there for Jaron Ennis. So I don't really see him doing that. Now, as far as the second portion of it, Terence Crawford going to Saudi Arabia to fight Madmarov, who is the IBF, what is the WBA champion? I think he's maybe the WBA champion at 154 pounds and getting a lot of money to go over there in Saudi Arabia to do that. I don't know whether that is really for real or not, because again, Terence Crawford doesn't seem like he's willing to sign multi-fight deals. And I don't even know if Eddie Hearn wants to sign a multi-fight deal with him. I'm not quite sure what's in that for Eddie Hearn or whoever Madmarov's promoter is, to go and allow Terence Crawford to beat him, take that belt over there. And then he's not going to keep that belt and be on that, and continue to fight underneath that banner for the sake, and after having taken that belt off of him. Same thing as the WBO in Sebastian Fundora. I just don't see it, man. However, it's, and then of course you have the fact that he's the WBO mandatory. Just interesting stuff going on with Terence Crawford. Got another video coming up about that in a little while. But that's my take on those things. Number one, I don't think either one. I don't think that first fight is going to happen. Jaron Ennis and Conor Benn. The Terence Crawford Madmarov, that's more likely. That's more likely. It's possible. It's more likely. But I don't know, man. I still don't really trust and believe the purses that these guys are saying that they're paying out there in Saudi Arabia. One example for why I don't believe that is because they weren't able to make the fight between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez, because they're like, no, that's not realistic to make. And I don't know if that was a money or a positioning thing, but whatever the case was, didn't happen. Several other fights they weren't willing to pay for. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.